Alright, this is B-Boy Stratus here, and I'm actually really sick right now. I got some more or less ambient music in the background. So, the first thing you'll notice is this is a power chaining tutorial, meaning not multiflares, but you're about to see. This is what your finished product is going to be. Windmill, flare, windmill. Much easier than it looks, or easier than you might think it is. Yeah, sorry my legs aren't exactly straight. I haven't practiced this for like a week, and I was like, I have to make a tutorial tonight, because I need to actually practice this. So first, stretch. Specifically, these 3 stretches will help you out, especially with your side flexibility. You'll need those in your flares. And excuse my coughing, like I'm seriously pretty sick. I'm recovering though, so it's all good. Alright, so first flare. This is going to teach you how to do one flare, and this is just a general overview. I'm going to be going over your primary hand, the setup, more of the setup. I don't know what I'm doing right now. Notice that my right leg is a little bent. The swing, kind of what you do with your arms, hips, major emphasis on hips. Your support arm is also going to be huge in this flare because it's going to get you a lot of your lift, if not all of your lift. And you really want to push with your shoulders. But anyway, I'll get into all of that. For now, just watch as I kind of demonstrate something. I'm not sure. So, here's your setup. It's going to be very simple. You want to keep your legs open, but don't go into like a splits type position. I usually like to keep my right knee a little bent and keep my left leg straight. It's really up to you. Arm positioning should be pointed backwards or to your side. Usually 45 degrees is good. Keep your head down. The swing, sorry I'm rushing this a little bit. The swing is really easy. I just showed you in that little clip what it actually looks like in the flare. But basically you just want to sweep your back leg behind your forward leg. And you really want to emphasize on your hips swinging outward. Don't just like kick your leg out. Actually swing your body, because otherwise you're just going to fall. It'll look kind of pathetic and sad. So you want to swing outward and really watch my hips. They like bam right out at you. And that's what they should look like. So again, starting the flare. Now, right when your hips get in front of you, you want to place your right hand down and you want to let your right leg drop. But don't think about it dropping. Focus on bringing your left leg up toward your head. With your support arm, it's very important to keep it straight and to push upward with your shoulders. If you just lay on the ground kind of like how I am and just push on your shoulders until your body is oriented like that, you'll get a good feeling. And that's what it looks like in the actual flare. Alright, now again, it's very important to keep your elbows straight and keep your entire arm straight. Sorry, I'm really trying to resist coughing, but yeah, so you want to imagine bringing your right leg toward your head and then your left leg toward your head, much like in windmills, except you really want to emphasize like swinging that left leg toward your head without actually like holding it next to your head, because that's what gymnasts do and it looks really ugly. So just imagine swinging your right leg toward your head and then your left leg toward your head. And you'll pretty much get one flare really easily. Now that's probably more or less what your first flare is going to look like if you took all of my tips into consideration. What's really important is that as you hit the second part of your flare, as you're pulling your left leg toward you, you want to push on your shoulder really hard and lift yourself up. Right here I'm demonstrating hips, and you want to push your hips up so hard that your upper body glows from the light. And you really want to keep your hips out the entire time. Here I have 3 screenshots showing my hips at 3 different points during the flare, and as you can see they're all far away from my body. That's definitely what you don't want to do. Imagine seriously like throwing your body outward. And you might not be able to catch yourself with your right arm properly the first few times, but as you practice it, you'll get more used to it, and it looks like that. Multiflares, I'm not really going to go into it much. If you get enough lift as you come around the side, just sweep your hips outward, just push them out, and go through and basically learn the first flare over from the second flare position. It's really easy to go multiple flares, but I never practiced them. That was one of my first attempts. Not really, but I seriously never practice them. The only time I do multiflares is to practice my windmill. This is all you'll really need. Just clearance on one flare. And with that clearance, you can go into windmill to flare. So this is actually kind of difficult, but only if you make it difficult. I was hoping that I could still do this after a week of not even touching the floor. And I could, so I was really excited. So watch my body, watch my hips, and how far out they come in the front of the flare. You want to get your hips out, otherwise you're not going to clear that flare. First though, you're going to learn a slidey flare. And that's what a slidey flare looks like. If you're wondering what the difference is, I'm actually going to show you. And it mainly comes in what I said, which is your hips. You really, really, really want to shove your hips out. In the slidey flare, as you can see, I basically just drag my body around, but in that I really push out and pull around. Now for slidey flares, you're going to start with a turtle or hand glide to flare. And it should look something like that. It's not going to be a perfect flare, because it's really hard, and it's going to be really easy if you can flare properly. So all you want to do is just focus on your hips. It's going to be from the same position as a windmill, just flare instead. And yeah, you really want to push your hips and just swing them around in a circle. The further out you can get your hips, the better. And yeah, again, it's really easy. I did that one just for fun for the epic ending, but yeah, there's really not that much to say about this move. Just try it a few times, and you'll pretty much get it easily. If you need more help, feel free to ask. I'll do whatever I can. If you can do a mid-air hand glide to flare, even better. Not completely necessary, but a helpful exercise. Now you're going to actually want to try a windmill to flare, and that is my arm demonstration of the motion, I believe. So windmill, and right here, where you'd stab for a second windmill, stab, but keep your lower body up, and swing it outward. Very easy. For a slidey flare, you don't even need to do that, but you might not clear the flare depending on how hard you push. Not necessarily important for a slidey flare, but yeah, just windmill and just kind of throw your hips in a circle. It's really, really easy. I guarantee you. See? It feels kind of bad, but it's necessary to learn explosive flares, which is super awesome. Sorry about that. If it helps, try stalling your windmill a little bit, going kind of onto your lower back, and just literally just swinging around if you're still having trouble with this move. Just really take it easy, and don't try to force the flare. It should come pretty naturally. Now, explosive flares. These are going to be your powerchaining flares, and you're just going to want to make them explode, just like the name implies. So right here, that's not going to cut it. You really want to shove your hips out and pelvic thrust the ceiling. The key difference between it actually is going to be in your hips, and I'm going to show that in a bit, I hope. But yeah, you want to shove your hips out and then really use your lift arm and push hard using your shoulder. This is probably going to take the most muscle out of the windmill, flare, windmill combo. So yeah. So here's the difference. This is your slidey flare, and your explosive flare should have your hips up. If you look at the side by side again, you'll definitely notice a difference. Where, like, I think I'm gonna show it, actually, because don't want to make you guys jump around too much. So, windmill, flare, and notice how my hips have really come outward. Like, they get shoved out. As opposed to slidey flare, where it's just kind of like drags around. You want to push out. Windmill to flare. Now, your flare to windmill, I don't even know I'm teaching this, I really don't. Like, it's such an easy move. If you can flare, and you can clear your flare, even by a little bit, all you have to do is just slide your arm under like that, and you'll get a windmill. But just in case, here's a short tutorial. Instead of planting your hand like you would normally, just collapse. And you really don't even need any height, like, it's such an easy transition from flare, it's ridiculous. So flaring right here, just slide under. If it helps you, you can try what I just did, but I really don't think it's necessary. So yeah, flare, you don't, as like, if you go back and review that, sorry I'm not very coherent either, but I hardly got any clearance, and all you have to do is just push on your shoulder, your lift shoulder, and just collapse. And then you hit your back and just finish the windmill. Yep, so that's pretty much it. Now when you combine it, you get a windmill, explosive flare, windmill, and it looks all pretty and stuff. So yeah, there's a slow-mo on it. If you need any more tips on anything, or if there's anything that I didn't make clear, because this is kind of a short tutorial for a kind of complicated move, feel free to message me, add me on Facebook, email me, whatever. And that's pretty much it for this video, I guess. So yeah, I hope that helped you. I hope you learned this move pretty easily. I might do a multi-flare tutorial at some point, but again, the reason that I don't do multi-flares is I'm not really a power head, and as a result, the only power that I end up using is either to enter set or in the middle of my set, and neither require me to do continuous flares, so I practice 2 flares again to make sure I get clearance off of my first flare. And eventually probably for lift, because I will need to get lift between flare to air flare and such moves like that, which may also come in tutorials later if I can ever learn them. But yeah, so good luck. Practice safe. Really easy move. Don't overthink it. Lift hard. Swing your leg toward your head. Keep your head down when you start. Hips out all the time. And yeah, if you need help, like message me or post a video response, whatever. And that is it. I hope I get better so my next tutorial won't be in like a raspy coughing voice. Alright, peace guys.